is. See, it's never five. Anyway, we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks, Paul. We are live today. All right, we are very fortunate from corporate, mostly in California. We have an incredible trainer, Michaela Feldman. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you.
The studio audience loves you. That's always a good sign.
Oh,
So, Michaela,
yes,
let's start. Let's tell us a little about yourself, all that good stuff, please. Then we'll get into some details.
absolutely. So I have been in real estate now for a little over 4 years. Prior to this, I was a executive director of a restaurant and hospitality company. So kind of when the world shut down in 2020, I was bored out of my mind and decided to do like real estate certification, fell in love with it. Told myself if I don't study and I pass the test, then that's going to be a sign. And that's what happened. And here I am.
And that California test is not easy, is it?
It is not, but I love the all the fair housing laws, and I'm a total numbers nerd. So for me, it was something that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, my joke with California agents is for a while there, you guys were non-essential. Remember that?
Yes,
Right? Your
yes.
governor said you were. It didn't last long. People complained, and then he made you essential. In Vegas and Arizona, we were always essential. That's my little California joke. But okay, so you got it. So let's. I'll do the quick explanation. So Michaela was in my coaching schedule. We were working. We were doing coaching, and she was out door knocking and being a real estate agent, doing all the proactive stuff. Started to get results, and then all of a sudden, this job came available, and they asked me, "Do you know anybody?" I'm like, "Yeah. If Michaela will take it, I would hire her." And you've been doing this now for what? Over 2 years, right?
Just about, yeah, 2 years.
Yeah. Awesome. Tell them what that's been like.
So I love it. I'm incredibly systematic. And so for me, as soon as I joined Berkshire Hathaway, I dove into all the tools and the CRM. Again, just kind of having that sales and marketing background, I think it was a pretty easy transition for me. But I felt like a lot of agents, especially in my office, weren't utilizing the tools, and it just felt so overwhelming. And when you came to me with this opportunity, I felt like it was a way to really help others, even within our own brokerage, just to really utilize what we're given as agents. And I've absolutely loved it.
Yeah, and you're teaching them to use our two CRMs, which
Mm.
are free to them. They can use them both. One's Bold Trail, or actually BHHS Connect, which is the
Yep.
more techie one, like you like. And for dinosaurs, I mean, for older agents like me, I would use the VAC because it's do it once and it runs forever.
Yes. Well, I do personally, as still an agent, use both.
Yeah.
And I think that, there's amazing capabilities in both systems. And so I think depending on your level of activity as an agent and the time you have to really dive into setting up a CRM, that's part of my job is to help agents really utilize and see what they have available to them, to get the system going. Because at the end of the day, you can door knock all day long, and I mean, I was, so I know. And you can post on social media all day long, but if you don't have any system to follow up with those leads and with potential clients, then you're just beating yourself up for no reason.
Okay. I totally agree. And that we're talking about, we just did our little tour. You did it a few times with me. Maria did it, Lorette, about
Yep.
is your net working? By the way, you can go to isyournetworking.com, and see those videos. Or if you're in California, you'd be a lunatic not to set a one-on-one with Michaela to help them. Like, so give them a little tidbits. Like, okay, so I'm an agent. I need to be working my sphere more from the digital side because I should be talking to them. I should be going to see them. They should see me on social media. But what would the VAC or BHHS Connect do for them as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think no matter what you're doing as far as your prospecting, whether that be, calling, reaching out to your sphere of influence, social media, door knocking, at the end of the day, you're going to need a CRM. And a CRM, for those that don't know what that is, it is a client or contact relationship management system. And it's really allowing a automated system to do a lot of work for you. So again, alleviating you of the extra stress of having to, send a personal email to, let's say, 1,000 of your database once a month or quarterly, however often, you have someone set up on something. So I would say from a, let's just say, traditional prospecting, door knocking type, anytime you get someone's information, you need to set aside at least 1, 2 days a week to then put them into your system. We have tons of training videos within Berkshire Hathaway on the
I know.
which
Thank you.
which I think are super powerful. And it really allows you to nurture those leads and, be able to, I joke constantly, and it's not a joke, but one of the easiest things you could be sending out is a monthly newsletter. And again, it's just reminding people gently that you're a real estate agent and that you can help them when it comes time to either buy or sell. And so I think with that, that's probably one of the most beneficial tools that you have. And then on the social media side, you know, you can post all day long. And, they always joke that going viral does not mean a sale or does not mean a client. And so that shouldn't be your goal on social media. Your goal should be, again, that nurturing, getting those organic conversations started, and then having something that can nurture those conversations and the people that you meet. Having a data entry form or a lead capture that's on your social media. I mean, I have ones that are for, like, download a free buyer's guide or download a free seller's guide. And I get so much engagement from that. But then again, the follow up on your side as an agent is putting them into a system like a CRM so that you can then nurture that lead until they're actually ready and are ready to either buy or sell.
Yeah, such a good point too, because the whole networking thing that we did was all about getting everything together. Like, you should be talking to them somehow. Obviously, the highest quality contact is face to face. Phones a close second. Video is right in there too, because video, they see you,
Yeah.
right? They're listening to you. They're getting to know you more. They know your opinions and what you're thinking, which is great. And then digital, they're getting emails from you. Oh, look at, there he is again, or she is again, right? You're like, the whole idea
Exactly.
is to be everywhere. So when they think real estate, they think of you, right?
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. And I think the biggest thing too is, for me, and Rick, this because I was doing coaching with you, my goal was to door knock 100 doors a day. And obviously, with this position in the last 2 years, I've not been able to meet that goal because I'm working full time. And I think that a lot of agents, they just give up. And, at that point, they throw their hands in the air and it's overwhelming, or maybe they don't want to door knock and it's something that's a fear for them. Um, One of the things that I've really transitioned to is social media, because at the same time, I can spend 5 minutes, put together a reel or get on an Instagram story and create a video and reach hundreds, if not thousands of people. And again, it's once you post, don't do the post and ghost. Make sure that you're engaging with your followers and your friends, because they are going to see that buy-in from you and the interest that you have in their lives, aside from just coming on and selling them on who you are as an agent.
Yeah, so true. I love that post and ghost. I will be using that. Thank you. You have to
Absolutely.
you have to comment on their stuff, and social media gives you a tremendous amount of material to call them about too. Hey, I see your daughter graduated from college. Congratulations. Hey, I see your dog is so cute catching that frisbee. Hey, whatever, right? I mean, oh, you have that beautiful baby. I mean, there's so many things you can use, but you got to be commenting on them and also using it as reasons to talk to them, right? Because this is a business where you can't
Absolutely.
be an agent.
Right. No, absolutely. And I will say, I mean, I know you said it in our Is Your Networking class. Every single time I ask someone, like, how's life? How are the kids? How's this or that? How's the job? It never fails that someone always says, like, how's real estate? And so
Mhm.
it opens that organic conversation where you don't have to, reach out to people not being sincere in a, like, oh, I see that you've been in your house now for 5 years. Like, are you thinking about selling? Because that's just going to turn people off. And so I think, again, even social media can feel overwhelming. And that's something that I love that we teach are the tools we have with Berkshire Hathaway. The point isn't to make the viral reel, and then when it doesn't go viral you just give up. The point is to just show up and making sure that you're not just real estate 24/7. You're showing them your life, your personal life, the local coffee shop you're at, or a restaurant in your area that you specialize in, and really showing that you are part of a community, as well as, yeah, of course you're showing them you're a real estate agent, but you're also showing them you're a person. And I think that that's what leads to those organic conversations and people commenting on things, or directly messaging you. And it's all just staying consistent and putting in the work to at least show up.
Yeah. When I started in the business 2 years ago, I mean, 1985, I started the business. Back in my day, we to have the same exposure that you guys can have today for free, right? I would have had to
Right.
buy bus benches, billboards, newspapers, magazines, TV ads. With social media and digital marketing today, it's like, and I don't know if you've noticed this because I know you do videos too, but when you meet somebody after they have seen several videos of you before they meet you, they treat you totally different, don't they?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's almost like that local celebrity feel, especially if it's somebody who just found you that you don't know and you haven't met in person. And I've been stopped in stores of like, oh, I follow you on Instagram, and it's like, what's like, oh, well, thank you, and it just starts that conversation. And again, I mean, it's just making sure that you're at least showing up, but then once you do have those conversations, having somewhere to nurture those leads so that you don't forget about them.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. No, it's so true. It's such a great, it's such a, if you put this all together, and you're right, some people do some people do, but if you actually network this all together so it starts working incredibly well, like somebody like me, like social media to me is the newest part. I mean, it took me a
Right.
while to get used to my personal life, and I don't really, I still to this day don't, I'm not crazy about that. But if you want them to get to know you, use you, I use it for recruiting, retention. They got to get to
Right.
know you as a person, right?
Exactly. Yep, absolutely. And the last thing you want is just, you know, to be all one thing. And I
Right.
think, if all I did was post it on social media, real estate, real estate, real estate, there would be no personalization of them feeling like they know me. It would just, it's like you can go to a restaurant and have the same server, and all you know about them is they're your server at that restaurant. You don't know anything about them. So you're not going to reach out to them and ask them, where some other great restaurants are. So I think that's where, showing that personalization, showing them you're a real human, and, you like different things, or you have a family, or, your friends, and what you guys do. I think that's so truly organic. And that's a huge, building that like, know, and trust factor when you're behind a screen and you're reaching thousands of people, weekly with a post. They want to know who you are as well.
Yeah. So true. So true. All right. So I'm an agent. I've been doing this for a while, and I probably need to pick it up and bring it all together. So what would you tell them? Give them your top three. You can call it suggestions, tools, courses of actions, anything that you think are probably the three most important things they should start with.
Absolutely. So I think, not fearing social media. If pick one platform. I think that's where that overwhelm factor comes in too much, is people feel like I have to be on everything, and you don't. You just pick one and start watching like YouTube videos and how to use that platform to the best of your ability. Start engaging with people that you don't follow who are in the same industry as us, other agents in other states. I think that we all want to support each other, because at the end of the day, we're all in this together trying to help our clients. And so I think, pick one platform and just show up. It doesn't matter what you post. It doesn't matter if you get one view or 100,000 views. Just show up. And then I think, the next step is have something of value to give to these people. Whether it be a spring checklist, or a summer checklist, or a buyer's guide, or a seller's guide, something that you can give to them for free, but it adds value to their lives. And I think in today's day and age with I have so many guides and checklists that I've had AI write for me, and I've just tweaked it a bit, or put it in my own voice. And I think, yes, sitting down and writing a huge buyer's checklist might seem overwhelming, but we have tools now that can help you with that. And then I would say the third thing is, once you have something to give someone and they've given you their information to receive it, you need to put them in some type of CRM. And whether that be the VAC or BHHS Connect or both, have something that will nurture those leads for you so that you can call them and reach out to them with that personalization. But you also have a system in place that's working in the background, that's doing a lot of work for you. So you can keep focusing on steps 1 and 2.
I love it. No, so true. Yeah, and if you get a little techie like the BHS Connect one, you can even use the AI part, which it'll actually answer for you and do all kinds of crazy stuff, which is still scary to me, but it's actually extremely effective.
Yeah, well, that's where you need to go in and look at what it's going to be responding and make sure that it sounds like you, and you can rewrite them. But yes, I do help agents in all 3 states, so Nevada, Arizona, and California. While I'm based in California, I can help. So if you are in any of our 3 states, with Berkshire Hathaway, and you're interested, or just need to do an audit of your CRM and see what's being sent out or to whom, I can absolutely do that with you and take the time to meet with you, and make sure that we're getting your systems in place so that you're not having to do extra work, but you're still getting the work done.
Yeah, Lorette Mormon from Nevada, Mary Sands, Arizona. They're kind of experts at it to you, but you've definitely been dubbed the BHHS expert for anybody that wants to deal with that. They'll even tell you that too.
Like I said, I love systems. So for me, if I can work harder, but also work smarter, I'm all for that all day long.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the analytical part too. That's good. That like you said, I mean, I'm I'm sitting at home with looking at my phone, and I see you on social media. Then I check my email, and you sent me a neighborhood report, right? Then I see you coming through my neighborhood. I mean, why wouldn't they use you if you start using this whole all-encompassing method that we're teaching, that we're trying to get agents to do? You're going to kill it in this business. I've seen agents do it time, and yourself as well. So there you go.
Yeah. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think just the fear and overwhelm factor, just set those aside. And again, it's just showing up and making sure that you take, even if it's just an hour a week, to get anyone that you've met into your CRM system. It's going to nurture for you, and it will pay off in the long haul. I mean, I will say that I met someone door knocking, oh my gosh, probably 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago now, and put them on a neighborhood report, didn't hear from them. They would never answer my calls or when I would pop by or be door knocking the neighborhood again. And sure enough, a couple months ago, they reached out, they're ready to sell, and they want to use me as their agent. And so you just don't, I would say the biggest thing is, don't be discouraged if, people
Yeah.
aren't engaging right away. It doesn't mean they're not watching. And so your aspect is just showing up.
Yeah. It's so true because I'll talk to agents, right? I'll post something and I'll
Yeah,
talk to agents, and this particular person didn't comment or say anything or even like it, but they quoted stuff I said.
yeah,
Or someone will say, "Hey, I saw you over here on vacation," or so they don't always comment, because once they've seen you for a while, now you just become part of their routine, and they don't all
right.
like. Sometimes I have to force, oh geez, I go back and I go, let me comment on that, because I see them all the time, they're doing a great job, right? So even so even when you think it's not working, as long as you're being consistent, it actually is working. And like I've talked to people too in my coaching, and they've said, this person never answered the door, they never returned a phone call, But when I went over to list their home 3 years later, they had 7 of my brochures that I dropped off, at their house, that they pull
Yep.
in at and keep them. So the
Exactly.
process, my favorite Deepak Chopra line, the process guarantees the outcome. You just have to get better at the process, most of us. Process is the key.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. I mean, I've had a friend who I had not seen in 20 plus years because just moved out of that city, kind of lost touch, and I helped them buy a home a year ago. And so and again, all because of me showing up on social media, them seeing that I'm an agent, you know, they reached out. So you never know who's watching. Just because someone's not commenting, they're not emailing back, they're not picking up the phone, just show up. I think would be the strongest message I could give, whether
I
that's
love it.
showing up in person, showing up in emails through your CRM, or showing up on social media. Just show up.
The great philosopher Woody Allen once said 80% of success is showing up.
Yeah.
I love
There
it.
you go.
All right, any questions I didn't ask you that you think you need to answer, or anything that you need to tell them?
Um, no, I think we kind of hit
No,
it
we
all,
covered a
but
lot.
I would just say, like I said, try to get over the overwhelm factor. I know we are in the busy spring market right now. So if you don't have time today or this week to sit down and go through your CRM, you know, just bite-sized pieces. Schedule 1 hour every week to go in and clean it up, or to add, who you've met that week to your CRM. Because the last thing you want is to promise somebody a neighborhood report, or promise, to connect with somebody, and 6 months passes and you've already lost them because six
Right.
other agents have shown up. So just make time every week, create a system. And I know that that can be overwhelming as well, but just create a system that's realistic for you and your business and your life that you can stay consistent with.
I love it. I love it. Awesome stuff. Well, Michaela, thank you for taking out a half an hour of your time this morning. I really appreciate it. This was extremely educational. I'm sure a bunch of people got a whole bunch of nuggets out of this. And don't be surprised if you get some calls immediately to help with their CRM, which, like I say,
I would
Bold
love
Trail,
it.
BHA's Connect, or the VAC. Thank you very much. Bye,
Thanks,
everybody.
Rich.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Have a great day.
Bye, Paul.